Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live, presented by FanDuel. I am your host, Ryan Favell, with my co-hosts Ben and Sean, back for another episode. Got a lot to get into tonight. We will have a special guest joining us later in the evening. That is four-star, top 15 player in the class of 2027, defensive lineman David Show out of Chicago. He will be joining us shortly here after his visit is finished over at Nebraska. So we'll have that for you. But before we get into that, got a lot of recruiting stuff to kind of get into and break down. But first things first, Ben, Sean, been a week. I know, Ben, it's been a little bit since you've been on. How you guys been?
Sorry, my internet was bugging out.
You're good.
No, I'm just messing with you. I've been good. We're excited for the interview. We're just
as we lose Sean mid-sentence. Great. That's great. Ben, how are you?
Yeah. I'm back.
Y'all hear me?
Great.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh man.
Yeah, bro, we're doing great. Spring forward. Except if you're Sean. But it's good to be back. We got college basketball on. I'm taking my time out. Hate watching Virginia Tech to come do this show.
Hey.
You better. Yeah. And
All
Charlie's
right.
doing good. He's been here every episode. He says, "Go Irish," and he's excited to be here too. Yeah.
All right. Well, first things first, we got a few predictions to get into, a few official visits that have been set up by some key prospects in the class of 2027. So, first things first, we're interviewing a kid from Chicagoland. Why not start off with another defensive lineman from Chicago who will be taking an official visit to Notre Dame? That is four-star defensive lineman Braden Parks out of Brother Rice in Chicago, Illinois. We'll take a look at his tape here. Again, this is our first time watching this. But he will be taking an official visit June 12th. Notre Dame is one of only 3 teams that will get an official visit from the Chicagoland product, the other 2 being Ohio State and Oregon. So as we kind of watch this, you guys can kind of give me your thoughts. But anytime Notre Dame can get a top-tier defensive lineman, especially from the Midwest, I think you got to definitely get them. Seems like Notre Dame's really hitting Chicagoland hard in the class of 2027 and class of 28, which is kind of abnormal from what we've seen the last few years. So it's a breath of fresh air, I'd say. Sean, thoughts on early on Braden Parks?
Yeah, it's a big boy. He's good size on the defensive line. I think we need somebody that can be that big body. I think he's arguably would be probably. He just seems like a guy that it'd be hard to run through. I think that we have that with Sean Civillano, and then I feel like he's going to be a big body that we haven't had in a while, if that makes sense.
Yeah. 6 foot 305 is what he's at currently. So he's not the tallest guy, but he's got that size that you need on the interior that we haven't really had the last couple of years. Ben, I know it's probably your first time seeing this kid's tape. What are your thoughts?
Holy shit, he's a monster. I just saw him bull rush a freaking probably 285-pound center straight through the middle, straight through his chest like a man. That's what we need. We need men out there. And I've said your middle parts of your field, your offensive line, your defensive line, those trenches, those guys are going to be your biggest physical players. So if we get more guys like that, Like, I don't care where they're from. They can be from Chicago. They can be from Puerto Rico. They can be from, I don't know, Krypton. If they can play big and be physical in the middle, that's all I care about. So, yeah, if this is something that we think there's a lot of kids like this in the Chicago area, then let's keep going for him because this kid looks great.
Yeah,
And he plays in the Chicago Catholic League, which
Mhm.
historically has been very good to Notre Dame in the past. Um, another thing, Notre Dame connection here, interesting here, is that he is the godson of former Notre Dame great Chris Zorich, and he's also cousins with former Notre Dame running back Tony Jones Jr. So he has that Irish connection built in, and he's had a prediction to go to Notre Dame for the past 7 months. So it seems like that's kind of things are trending that way. But Notre Dame obviously has to beat out Ohio State and Oregon. And anytime you see Ohio State and Oregon after a player, I think that's a good sign. We always talk about offers over recruiting rankings.
Yeah.
Michigan was also heavily off after him as well. So that's a good sign. What are you going to say, Ben?
That's what I like. That's why I said last year of all recruits was you can tell me whatever 247, you can tell me whatever one recruiting thinks. But if I see Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan State on that list, I take that more into consideration than what star they have next to them or rating they're given by them. Because these kids, like these coaches are putting their careers on these kids if they come here, but they're going to be really good. And I trust that more than I trust a recruiting ranking.
Yeah. How often do you see a 4-star not get an offer from Michigan, though? Or usually it goes hand in hand. But I agree, especially when it comes to the lower level underrated prospects. That's where that really comes in. This guy, Ryan, you said it too. Like, we just haven't had size like that in years. Gabriel Rubio probably a good size too.
I think Rubio was like 290, 295.
But he felt big because everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Because you had Heinisch playing next to him, who was what, 280.
But this would be an important get. You need somebody that have some size. That we need somebody to go in that could just. You got to run through this big man right here, like Ben said, some men. So I agree with all y'all. I think this would be a huge get. Prediction of 7 months. Let's hope it's not 8. Let's hope he just already commits.
Yeah, and again, I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily know if this has all to do with because of how Freeman is as a coach, right? He's got a recruiting and a coaching philosophy is challenge everything, right? Always improve anywhere you can. But I almost wonder if what happened against Miami week 1 last year, where we just got absolutely bullied in the trenches on both sides, especially on the interior defensive line. I wonder if that kind of opened the eyes of what to do going forward and the type of players we need to get to improve. You see, we brought in Tion Gray from the portal, who's, 340? When have we ever had that size? 6'6", 340 at nose, right? You've got Mookum back. You've got Sean Civiliano, who's just all size, right? Seems like there's a trend going towards that way. And if you look at the other D tackle offers in this class, it's kind of the same way.
That's the big thing with this. We kind of forget that for a long time, Miami this past year was a team that dominated, had big guys in the middle. But I'd probably say all the way back to Michigan when they won the Natty. Before that, most teams had very dominant inside, had with some pretty big dudes. I know when we played Ohio State, I could definitely just say it was a year off. That would be a better way of putting it. A year off of that. But Georgia, they've always had big guys. Ohio State, when they won the Natty back in with Zeke Elliott, they had huge alignment in the middle. Zeke Elliott was running through semi trucks could fit through those holes because of how big they were, how big those guys were making those holes. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is something that you need if you want to win a Natty. We're not really in the time anymore where you can go small and get beat in the middle and then go to the outside. We're not there anymore. We have to, if we're going to win a national championship with the way we want to play football, we need to be able to go straight down someone's throat. And getting stuff like D lineman, and O linemen that are really big in the middle, that's really important.
And
Yeah.
do you all feel this year that we have some of that size?
Yeah, the kid from Oregon is exactly what we needed. That was I would say outside of oh my god, I'm gonna forget his name, the Ohio State wide receiver.
Which one, Miles?
Mylan
Not
Graham
Mylan
or
Graham.
Quincy Porter.
Quincy Porter. I thought I was gonna say Quincy Johnson. Quincy Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Not even close. Are you even a
Yeah,
Notre Dame
close.
fan? I'm just kidding.
Bro, it's been a minute. But Quincy Porter, like outside of Quincy Porter, maybe like I don't even know, like I don't think anyone else even compares to how big Quincy Porter was as a pickup, just the type of player he is.
Yeah.
But I would say the Oregon D lineman was probably our biggest pickup outside Quincy Porter.
Don't forget the kicker.
Well, yeah, and the kicker.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
As long as he's not laughing on the sidelines after missing an extra point, I don't really care.
So we do have 2 more visits we'll get into, and then we'll get into the predictions. Gonna pull this kid up here, Shane. But any final thoughts on Braden Parks? I mean, if he commits to Notre Dame, I know, Sean, we like to do this when we talk about recruits. Do you think it's a guy that could see some playing time early on, or is it kind of a developmental piece?
You know, it's harder to say it more and more as the years go on because of the portal. But I think it's more of a developmental. I don't see him getting maybe sophomore, be a red shirt first year, sophomore, junior year starts to emerge. But I think sophomore, we start to see him come in. Junior year, he's a starter type vibe.
All right. Ben, you kind of in the same boat?
Yeah, definitely. This is got to be a long-term player, and that's the goal. We got these kids on campus. We got to teach them the culture. This is definitely, and anything on the D line, I would say, is basically a long-term player outside a guy like Rodney Dunham.
All right.
So,
And that still could be, which is crazy.
yeah, Rodney Dunham could still be a long-term, like a guy who's not going to get a lot of playing time his first year, but I think he's the best chance of doing it.
I'm just getting hyped now. I'm like, thinking about going like Bryce Young.
Right. Next player that has scheduled an official visit, the number 1 linebacker in the class of 2027, out of Tampa, Florida, Caden Henderson. Not officially a 5-star yet, even though he's the best player at his position, just because for whatever reason, these recruiting services don't give out all 32 5-stars until the very end. Don't know why they do that. Makes no sense to me. But he did release the top 5 of Ohio State, Miami, Alabama, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. His official visit will take place June 19th. That seems like that's the Joey O'Brien, Kari Adams. That's the weekend that Notre Dame's kind of pinning for every elite recruit that they're having on campus. So that's one to kind of put on your calendar. But I'll put his tape up here. I have yet to watch this kid's tape. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was somebody that Notre Dame could really get in on, but it seems like
This ain't the same Notre Dame, buddy.
Yeah, like with losing Al Washington, right? It seems like Jean Marie, the new linebackers coach, has kind of revitalized, so to speak, or got Notre Dame seriously in the competition for this kid.
Yeah.
Athletic freak is what I've seen a lot. I've seen that clip multiple times on his Instagram. Just a hard hitter too. But we'll kind of get into this tape a little bit here. Kind of give me your guys' thoughts early on. I know you said that Gavin Williams right now, who we'll get into here shortly, is your favorite prospect outside of Abraham Sese and David Foloruncho, who we'll have on later. So kind of let me know where Caden Henderson kind of fits in there. John?
Does this feel like I want your comparison of him versus Snead as a 5-star coming out of high school.
A lot better than Snead. Snead had a lot of speed, like just raw speed and athletic versatility. Yeah. But he wasn't raw. Like I don't know how to say it. He wasn't a smart
hard-hitting
player and wasn't a hard hitter coming out. You were banking on a lot of just the pure athleticism with Snead, where Henderson seems like he's just a better all-around complete player. Hence why he's the best linebacker in this class.
Yeah, I mean,
looking at his ability to recognize the play just off the snap. Like on that one of those plays, the running back looked like he was going to fake it back to the left side, and he just kept there and he sat on it. And then you saw him go back towards the right, and he just broke the tackle or broke the block.
With play recognition, which is impressive because this player wasn't like this right away. But in high school, it's impressive. But it kind of makes me think of Bertrand a little bit. Bertrand was very, hey, like I know what's about to happen. He was always there at every play. Later in his career at Notre Dame, I think it's very similar, and it's even better as a high school recruit versus a junior, senior at Notre Dame. So it's like if he's already like that, like this kid would be insane. Could you imagine? I don't know if KVA would still be around by then, but could you imagine a KVA and him and a Madden and this would be dirty. It'd be dirty. Which, to be fair, it's an interesting question later, but. This would be an elite get. I mean, this dude's a hard hitter. He's a football player. He's a man, like Ben was saying. This is what Ben was looking for. He wants a man. He got a man. This your man right here.
But nah, my man.
This is who you want. You're gonna be all. This is the best player. Like this could be
this could be our Jalen Smith. This could be our Jalen Smith.
Yeah. I was gonna say like.
When you see a kid in high school, they're able to recognize, all these linemen are coming out of a blocking area. You don't see that a lot in high school anymore with linebackers because it's all about go hit somebody. When you see a kid recognize that, it's like, I wonder if this is a screen. Let me go blast the running back. Like when you see stuff like that,
the ability to react, like. And a lot of these plays, he's there before the play even gets an opportunity to even develop.
Like the speed, this would be gone for some players.
Yeah,
but his pursuit angles are very good.
He's got like you said, like I like the comp of Bertrand, although I think he's
more
athletic. A lot better. He's a more athletic version.
He's definitely got to meet you. He'll meet you in the middle like Bertrand would. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Bertrand was never afraid to take a hit.
And I also like he's not afraid to just blow up offensive linemen to get to a tackle. One of the most frustrating things, right, with Drake Bowen that we've seen over the years was I love Drake, right? Team captain and all. But what is
look at that play. Wait, play that play back. Look at that play. In high school football, that is a touchdown. When a running back gets that much room. He is on the other side of the field. Oh, wait, you just skipped over the whole play.
This one?
No, not that one. No, not this one.
Right here.
Next one?
Next one.
Oh, it's right here.
Okay.
It was a screen pass. It was their screen pass. Look, when you have that much room, that's a touchdown. He is on the other side of the field, and he cuts all the way across. He's still able to get the hit down the running back to take him down. You don't see that in high school football, even from the really good linebackers.
I can get you saying, like, Ryan, I don't know if we get him, but would be shocked that Notre Dame being. Like I said, it's a different Notre Dame, man. Like, we're recruiting better, and even if Marcus Freeman stays another 2-3 years, 4 or 5 years, whatever, it's going to continue to trend that way, and it's exciting to see. I'm not saying I think we land him.
6 or 7 years.
I'm not golden bricked up, so I'm thinking this is our golden brick. I don't have a golden brick prediction yet. But
the ironic thing for him is that there's a prediction for him to go to. So Will Fong put in a prediction last week for him to go to A&M. A couple of days ago, Miami beat writers were putting predictions for him to go to Miami.
You always listen to Steve, though.
But it seems like I'll say this: his recruitment reminds me a lot of Joey O'Brien, right? Where. Like, once he blew up, you kind of felt like, hey, maybe, I don't know if he goes to Notre Dame. And then you heard during his entire recruitment process, every visit, right, a different prediction came in. He had a different leader after every visit. That's what it seems like with Caden Henderson. And I believe we have the final visit for Caden Henderson, just like we had the final visit for Joey O'Brien.
You remember?
Which you listen to what Joey O'Brien said, and I'm not saying that it's the exact same, but you listen to what Joey O'Brien said, and he talked about if I didn't have that last visit, if Notre Dame wasn't my last visit, and I wasn't there with Kari Adams and all the guys, I probably wouldn't be at Notre Dame.
Hey, maybe KVA needs to have a conversation with him, and maybe he can commit to Notre Dame in the same way that he did. You never know. But it makes me think too. Remember Benjamin Morrison? Prediction Notre Dame, prediction Washington, prediction Notre Dame, prediction Washington, commits to Notre Dame. Like it was, and then look at him, right? So I mean, it's this is he probably would be a day one game changer. Like on the aspect, now I don't think he starts, but he'd be playing probably KVA level of playing time. I don't see him starting, but he'd probably get a lot of playing time as a freshman.
Yeah, I think so too. Ben, what are your thoughts?
I think if we get him, I think that he'll be in the position. And the thing is, just the way we run the linebackers, he's got to be in position to get playing time first day out. But he's got to earn a spot. Like he's got to be coming. He's a part of this upcoming class, right? So he'll be on, if he signs, he'll be on campus next early enrollment. He'll be on campus January 2027.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to have to earn his way a little bit. I could see some guys staying. We'll bring guys into the transfer portal because we always have the standard if we want to compete. So he'll have to earn it, but I think he can. Like I said, he's a top. There's stuff you see here on linebackers you don't really see that much, and that's why he's probably the best linebacker in the country.
Is he like a? We talk about Jeremiah Love seeing stuff out of running back you don't see often. Arguably, you could talk about Sonny Styles being different type of linebacker, seeing things out of a linebacker you don't see much.
If this kid is the next Sonny Styles, I will do backflips on this show.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, do you think that there's aspects of him being ahead young that could make him into an elite?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I completely agree. All right. One final official visit that was set up. This one comes from a kid that is actually currently verbally committed elsewhere. That is 3-star Texas safety, Carnell Greedy James. He will officially visit Notre Dame. He's been verbally committed to the Longhorns since December. And I wanted to note this on the post. Notre Dame has had great success recently with 3-star DBs from the Longhorn State. And I love the name, by the way, Greedy James.
Greedy with that interception.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'll pull up his.
I don't know if it's better than Jizzle, but we'll go with it.
All right, I'll pull up his tape here. Again, he's 3-star safety out of Texas, committed to the Longhorns. And I know this is going to be Ben's favorite saying every time we talk about recruits is it's offers over stars. He is ranked outside the top 600, so he's not a highly touted prospect by any means right now. But we just saw, as we'll talk about with David when he hops on the show, David was ranked outside the top 800 just a few months ago, and now he's basically 5-star status. So all it takes is a little bit.
Well, the thing with rankings that's crazy is a lot of the guys that end up committing, they stop going to these camps, which lowers their rankings.
See, and that's I made this joke one time. I don't think I made it on here, but I made it in one Spaces. I said, I have a gut feeling that 247-13, they have something on Twitter where they can search what players' names are talked about the most, and that's what they decide their rankings on. Because I see some of these kids, like they get ranked, like for certain guys, they just get ranked as a 3-star. Leonard Moore, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Yeah, do we have a lot to do with that? We might, but looking at him out of high school, how would you say he was a 3-star?
There's, I will say, there are so many high school players that maybe sometimes they fall through the cracks, right? It's hard you're not going to know every 5-star caliber player in every class.
You won't, but when you get to a point where you're that far deep and these kids are getting these offers, you have to do that research as a company. If you're going to be a
And
top recruiting company, you have to do it. That's why I don't pay for 20%.
That's what I like when
pay
these
for
companies end up doing a flip on the aspect of like, hey, like this 2020 class as like it's 2024, they're seniors and they redo that class. And you see like what they would have been ranked after their college careers. So I always like looking at that too. But yeah,
All right.
back
Early
to
thoughts. Early thoughts on Greedy James.
Yeah,
He looks quick to the ball. He looks like he's getting out of his spots correctly. I like that kick return.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think he plays right away on the aspect that it's deep. I think of this as a guy that'll continue to rise up the rankings. I look at this as a guy who's going to have the work ethic to try to get on the field right away. I see him as a great special teams contributor already in his first year, right? And then I think we start to see him rotate in junior year, probably.
This is if we get him. This is if we get him too.
Yeah, I mean,
everything I'm saying is assuming, right?
Yeah, people criticize, like you said, Ben, the ranking. Just a quick look at his offer sheet: Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Iowa, Texas Tech, TCU, Wisconsin, Baylor, Missouri, like Utah. Like he's got some offers.
You just named 4 schools that have top 3 defensive backs in the NFL.
Yes.
Produce constant defensive backs in the NFL. They're not giving these kids these opportunities because they think they can make them NFL guys based off of just what the schools can do. They believe these kids are NFL prospects, and they're going to teach them how to become one.
Yeah, and I don't think Texas would take a commitment from a kid that they don't think can play at the highest level either. But yeah, Ben, what are your thoughts on Greedy James so far?
Like we said, if he comes here, he'll be a guy junior. I could maybe see him sophomore year, you know.
Yeah.
Just that's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't really know exactly because, of course, he's already committed. He's verbally committed, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But if he comes here, he'll be competing. He's got to be competing with the best. He's got to be working with the best. Like people just think because we lost Mike Mickens, that means our DB room's got to fall off a cliff. People forget Kyle Hamilton was coached by Mike Mickens. Like,
yeah.
Or was it Mike Mickens?
I will say that, like, with
Hamilton's final year,
I hate state rankings because, this guy's the 34th ranked player in Texas. He'd probably be top 10 in Massachusetts, right? But too, on this aspect, I can agree, Ben, somewhere sophomore, probably because the safeties we have now, by the time he's a freshman, the guys like the O'Briens and stuff will be juniors. So when they're seniors, they'll probably rotate as a sophomore to get ready to play as a start as a. I assume, right?
And the other thing is, it really depends on where we're at as a team. Like I said before, and that's one thing it's kind of hard to predict. But I can tell you this: every year we're gonna want to compete. So we might bring in transfers going into this kid's junior year. He's got to compete with a whole new group of kids. So
and again, people think that our DB room's going to fall off a cliff. I was just in a space the other day where people were saying, "Oh, well, Notre Dame only had great DBs because of Mike Mickens. Look at their outside of that, all they had was Kyle Hamilton and Harrison Smith." And I'm like, "You mean 2 All-Pros that are probably when they retire are going to be Hall of Fame safeties?" Like,
let's say Kyle Hamilton won the highest paid safety in the NFL. Julian Love, who just won a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
And as people act
Gilman
like,
just signed a decent contract.
Yeah,
Alohi Gilman, who's on his second contract.
Cam Hart,
or third contract, technically.
Cam Hart, who was a 5th-round pick, is a starter now for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Morrison was a 2nd-round pick.
Ben Morrison was a second. Like,
Leonard Moore's about to be a top 10 pick.
But we're talking about guys. Sean, we're talking about guys before we had Mike Mickens. We were producing DBs before Mike Mickens. I think he took it to another level. I think that's safe to say, right? But let's not act like Aaron Henry, who in his short time as a defensive backs coach put out Devon Witherspoon, who was a top 5 pick. Who else? Sidney Brown, Kirby Joseph for the Lions, and that's what. Let's be real here. Illinois is not getting the same caliber of talent on a year-to-year basis that Notre Dame is. For you to have a top 5 pick at DB, that's pretty freaking impressive,
Yeah.
right? So
Did
I think
Mickens
that. What?
did
Go ahead.
Mickens coach Hamilton at all during his time?
No,
Because I'm asking
no.
this because of the Ravens.
So
connection.
Mickens would have been, yeah, he would have coached Hamilton his last year.
His last year, yeah.
His last year. That last year, because Mickens came to Notre Dame the year before UC made the playoffs, and that was Hamilton's last year.
I want to mention too, like think about how good the DBs on the aspect of Brian of how since us growing up. And Matt,
Wait a second. Wait, no, I was wrong. Marcus Freeman came the year before UC made the playoffs. Mickens never coached Hamilton, and Mickens only coached Morrison for 1 year.
Yeah. But
okay, back to what you're saying.
Like us growing up, Brian, I had to have to play Madden, and the best corner I would get from Notre Dame would be Cole Luke at like 62 overall. Like now, you can go in there, you got decent DBs that you can pick from.
Yeah.
Look
at Tay Johnson. Tay Johnson was a freshman All-American last year. Like we're pumping these guys out like it's a factory right now. And again, I think a lot of it, not a lot of it, but a decent amount of it was Mickens, right? He was the best defensive backs coach in college football for a reason.
Is there a consideration for Notre Dame to be safety U? I'm asking this because of the recruit.
I think you gotta.
I think you still give it to LSU, but
yeah, I think you gotta wait a little bit. If we see 5 to 10 more years of Notre Dame producing top tier safeties.
Yeah, like if Joey O'Brien, Kari Adams all become first-round picks, I think that's will stand.
Like we forgot. Also, we just forgot Xavier Watts, who was up for Rookie of the Year and broke numerous.
That's what I'm saying. So you have Watts, Hamilton, Harrison Smith, Alohi Gilman, like Adon Schuler will get drafted next year. Like, that's why I'm saying like recency bias though. But
realistically, Adon Schuler could have got drafted this year, but he wanted to come back. Yeah, and that's the other thing. And people are forgetting this, like, oh, we're bringing back guys next year who could have maybe gone to the draft, maybe would have been 5th or 6th round picks or 6th or 7th round picks. They could have been that, but at the end of the day, like these guys came back because they want to win a natty and because we're willing to compensate them in a way they like it. So yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into our predictions, we'll get into our FanDuel segment for our bets of the week with our betting insider Ben back. So what's the play? I know you mentioned championship games. What's your play for those?
So Fravel, is this your play you have on the board?
No. That was from last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
My plays for the championships. Like I went to rehab. Rehab didn't work, so I'm back here giving you guys free hits. Okay. So let's start off easy. Big 12 championship. All the money's on Arizona. I will say Arizona is like, they might be minus money now. Like they might be favorites to win it now. But I really like go over. Just slide over.
Arizona.
No, we're not taking Arizona. No. Just
no.
Go back to college basketball.
He's picking Miami, Ohio. Or Matt
right.
over there.
So slide over, hit that slide button at the very top there. There you go. Right there. Slide all the way over. Conference tournament. There you go. So let's start with the Big 12. The best value bets in the Big 12 right now, if Fravel can find them. Come on, buddy.
Where is
okay. It's not on there.
Oh,
no, you're not blind. For some reason, it's not on there. Okay. Well, you can't take it right now. I can tell you what the odds are. I can tell you how much it pays out. $10 on Iowa State wins you $80. They're plus 700 right now. $10 on Kansas wins you $80 or wins you $90. They're plus 800 right now. Those are my two bets that I think have the best value in the Big 12. I would maybe, if you want to sprinkle a $5 bet on Texas Tech, they're at plus 1700 right now. That's a decent pick. I would maybe do that. And then, of course, I have to do it. I didn't put money on Houston. I don't think Houston will win the Big 12. I think Arizona is probably going to win it, but these are really good value because one team has to knock off Arizona. And they're offering it this. Yeah. Houston, is at plus 200. I don't think the value is good enough there. But if you're getting teams at plus 800, plus 700, that's great value for one team to get knocked out because those guys will jump from plus 700 to probably plus 300. And then also Cincinnati. If Cincinnati beats Arizona, they're going to play an Iowa State team. If they beat UCF tomorrow and they beat Arizona on Wednesday, they're going to play an Iowa State team that they ran out the gym the first time they play them. Iowa State did not look like a good team against Cincinnati because of the way Cincinnati plays defense. And then on the other side, they play either a Texas Tech team who's been struggling the past week. They play a Houston team who beat them twice already. But at the end of the day, you're taking how it's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. And you're playing a Kansas team who you beat in Kansas by 20 points. So I think that's
a tournament lock.
What?
Is Cincy a tournament lock?
No, they need to probably beat UCF and Arizona. That's their thing. They're playing for their tournament lives. Wes Miller's playing for his job, coaching for his job right now. Yeah. Another bets. Purdue to win the Big Ten. This seems like just a year. This seems like a random Purdue win. I don't know why. Is the Big Ten really not on there?
Nope. Only the SEC for some reason.
That's crazy. Okay, SEC play. I take Florida to win the SEC. It's minus 180. There's no other team in that conference that can beat them. The SEC is having a bad year, and Florida could go back to back. So throw $10 on it, you win 5. But you're winning. That's just a foot in the door. If you want to partner that up with if you want to take Arizona, probably now it's at minus money because they're almost done with the first round.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll get plus money on that. And then that's it.
Right.
I do a Big East or ACC ones.
No, it's fine. All right. Well, that's your pick for the picks for the week. Thanks to our.
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Wish Notre Dame basketball was good enough to actually be able to even be in the ACC tournament, but we can never have good things when Coach Shrewsbury is on the floor. So you got to love when your head coach tears his ACL and he's not even playing. So that's interesting.
Well, usually those two go hand in hand. Usually the head coach isn't playing. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
With the coach with the ref tearing his ACL, you can't argue his passion.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, I guess. All right. This was also another player that we looked at their film last week, and I know Sean really liked this recruit. He actually liked him better than the other kid that we looked at last week. And that is Cade Cooper out of Malvern Prep in Pennsylvania. He got a prediction logged to land at Notre Dame just yesterday. Like I said, Malvern Prep is a school that's been very, very nice to Notre Dame as of late. I guess it's a lot of their graduates end up going to Notre Dame for school, not typically athletics. But it seems like Cade would be a kid that would come here for both. So I know me and Sean got to watch his tape last week. Absolutely fell in love with it. Not a speed guy, so to speak, but kind of has that plays like Malachi Fields a lot. Not saying he is Malachi Fields, but he plays the same style. Runs a lot of fade routes. Doesn't get the best separation. But again, Malachi Fields didn't really either. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's a guy that you throw those 50-50 balls to. And with him, it's more of an 80-20 ball than a 50-50 ball. He's 6'2", so he's 2 inches shorter than Malachi Fields, but plays a lot bigger than 6'2" on the film. So, Ben, since this is your first time watching this kid's tape, what are some things that kind of come off the screen at you?
Yeah, his ability to get to the ball, that's really good. You see these kids, they go over the top like that, and they'll pull away because they're afraid because they're on the suicide route. But your ability to get to the ball is really good. And the athleticism, well, perfect timing for that. Hops over a player on the clip. The athleticism's there. It looks like he has pretty good hands. Of course, you have the 1 foot rule in college, which is good for kids on the outside. We want to make him a boundary. How tall is he again?
6'2".
6'2". So he could maybe he's not an ideal boundary, but he's a guy who can go to the outside, make a catch or two for you. He's not.
Ben,
But yeah.
Go continue.
But yeah, I think realistically, these are the type of kids you need to get. The kids who are athletic, the kids who can go to the ball, who are able to find the ball in the air like that. Those are the kids you really want. Just got away with pass interference on that one, but we don't care. But yeah, and then he's making the plays once he gets the ball. He's using this cutting ability. He's hopping over players. So this is at the end of the day, like when you look at a skill position player, you need to find a way to more of how can I put it? Work with these players to make them better at the other parts of the game. But realistically, we're doing that now. We've done that. Jane Greyhouse was very similar. He needed to be molded into a really good player. He didn't show it to us last year, but during that run, he did show it to us. Jordan Fajon, very similar actually. Jordan Fajon, the way he's able to, they trust him to run a lot of those comeback routes to get the ball and then go make a play to get a first down. So that's good to see.
Yeah, but I will say with the difference between him and Faison though is he's not as
fast and shifty.
Faison's got the shiftiness to him.
Well, he's also 6'2" and probably weighs 30 more pounds.
That was one of my favorite clips right there is his ability to want to block. What was the one thing that we got irritated with Greathouse a lot last year at times was
he gave up on the team.
Yep.
Well, he gave up on blocks. The inability or want to block on plays where knew he wasn't getting the ball. That's why he's doing all this. He's mossing people. He's, just going over the tops of people, right? That's one of my favorite plays on this tape is him just absolutely being willing to block.
I like him more. I liked him more, Ben, than the other receiver because the other receiver was a slot. And I was thinking more impactful at Notre Dame. We have Saldante. You have Greathouse will be gone. You have Faison gone. But we get a lot of slot guys and a lot of guys similar to the other guy that we were talking about last week. We don't have a lot of guys that can just go up and get the ball at Notre Dame. Realistically, most of them have been from the transfer portal. Maybe Jaden Thomas was the closest we had as a recruit from that recently. Maybe. So, I mean, this would be...
Caden Finley is probably the other one.
Yeah,
right?
For recent. I think it would be a good get on the aspect if you can develop that and have a guy, a homegrown guy. I think that's more impactful than just getting another slot shifty guy. We need a guy like this. So that's why I like him better than the other guy.
And we talked about this last week too, Sean and Ben, is Notre Dame the last two classes at receiver. What is the thing they've been looking for the most, right? Speed. Not the biggest guys, but just flat out speed at receiver. I think you've stacked up enough of those guys now to where you need some diversity in the room and you need some guys that can play the boundary and play that Fields role for you, that Jaden Thomas role for you, where they're not necessarily burners. You're not going to be able to hit them for an 80-yard touchdown pass because they're just going to blaze past everybody. But they're going to go up there. You throw them the ball. You know that they're likely to 9 times out of 10 you're going to come down with it. And I think that's good to have.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And the next one, this was Sean's favorite recruit from last week, outside of obviously Abraham Sese. Gavin Williams, the 4-star safety out of Laverne, California. He's a top 90 player. Notre Dame just got a prediction log for him yesterday as well. Probably my favorite tape of the class that I've seen. Interested to see what Ben thinks. But obviously huge that Notre Dame's getting a prediction for him. Seems like it's coming down to Notre Dame, USC, and a few others. Obviously with USC being there, the hometown school. Seems like USC is going to get the 5-star, the number 1 safety in the class, honor Falave Johnson, who commits on March 14th. So this is kind of Notre Dame's quote-unquote consolation prize, so to speak. And I think this is a pretty damn good consolation prize.
Whenever I hear the fucking word USC is giving Notre Dame a consolation prize, I sit there and I fucking laugh because every fucking consolation prize has been better than the guy USC has gotten.
Yeah. So Ben, you kind of gotten a little bit of a look here. Thoughts on Gavin Williams as a safety?
Any safety that wants to go over the middle and kill a wide receiver, I love them. They're awesome.
I
Like,
said it's funny you
go out
mentioned that because last week I was like, he gives me Schuler vibes, and I said, except against Miami.
except against Miami. But
Yeah.
no, like that's what you want. That's why I wanted my say. And I say it all the time. Like I want my wide receivers to be nitty gritty. Like I'm gonna go get that first down. I want my DBs and my safeties. I'm gonna go take you the fuck out. Like you're not gonna play. You're not gonna play 100%. This is gonna be the toughest game of your life, just because I'm gonna knock you out. Like that's all that matters. Like that's how you win these games. Like if you could fuck up a wide receiver's head. Like who was it? Shit, the Miami DB. He was fucking with Jeremiah Smith the whole entire Orange Bowl. Or not Orange Bowl. Well, yeah, it was Orange Bowl, I think.
Not the Orange
But
Bowl. It
yeah,
was
the Orange Bowl.
no, it was. You mean the game against Miami
Yeah,
at
Miami
Miami?
against Ohio State. No, I'm
Oh
talking
no,
about
no.
LJ
Oh,
Scott.
okay.
LJ Scott. Is
LJ
that his
Scott.
name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or not LJ
Here
Scott. Keontae Scott. There you go.
Keontae Scott. So
Yeah.
many fucking names. But no, what was I saying? But yeah, so it's the mind games these kids can play on each other. Like if you're gonna go rock a wide receiver over the middle, don't tap him. Put him on the ground. I wouldn't say put him in a medical tent, but make him hurt a little bit. Like you're playing a contact sport. Go make contact. Like, and that's what I love about Don Schuler. His ability just to put his helmet on the football. We saw in the Georgia game. We did not see in the Miami game. That is true. Sean, thank you for reminding us of that. But you're a safety in a contact sport. You're not there to pick them up like NFL, lay down the quarterback. Go out there and put someone in the dirt. Let's go out there and have some fun, kids. But yeah,
Yeah.
the way I'm seeing this kid, he's not afraid to go make contact over the middle. That's great. That's what I love about safeties.
I said in this, and I kind of went back and watched some Watts tape, and I went back and watched some Schuler because I know you mentioned Schuler. To me, he's got a little bit of both, right? I think he's got the ability to be a box safety like Schuler because he's got that ability to want to come up in the box and hit you. But he's also that ball hawking safety that Watts was, where wherever the ball is, he's going to be there, involved in the play, and he's going to get turnovers. This kid, if you watch his film, loves punching the ball out. Very technically sound about punching the ball out late during a run. Very, willing to jump into passing lanes and just be that ball hawk in the middle. And you see him in high school. He's playing both the box and the free safety roles in high school while also playing receiver, which then also kind of gives me the Watts comparison because what was Watts? Why was he so good at getting interceptions? Because he played receiver for a couple years. He played receiver all throughout high school. I think that gives you a little bit of an edge when playing safety of having those ball instincts. You're not playing to just defend the ball, you're playing to go get the ball. And I like that a lot from Gavin as well, which is why I think Sean thinks that he could probably play very early on, which I think if it was elsewhere, probably. But I
If you
think
didn't come here, I think you 100% could,
yeah,
but I don't
yeah,
know.
it's
When we had a DB class like we just had, and like when we've shown that we're willing to out there in the portal.
But you never know. We're assuming off potential. This guy is even like I said that he was better than Pouncey.
Aiden
So
Pouncey.
I think even if there's a chance, and it's close, not saying otherwise, they're both great players, but you never know. Jordan Johnson, everyone would say, would start over Jaden Thomas, and Jaden Thomas started over, you never know. So, like, if this guy's that good, like we say he can be, yeah, those guys are also good, but if he goes in there and lights up a storm, that's why I think he'll play right away.
Mm-hmm.
Or not right away. I mean, I was right about. We said the same thing when I kept talking about Tay Johnson, Ryan, and I was like, this is my favorite recruit in this class. He's going to be, and then as a freshman All-American, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. My headset just died. We're doing the show.
Never seen your ears on the show, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro! You get fucking CD radio of that shit.
Yeah, I do, man. I get better Wi-Fi than Sean
The
does.
Sean. We gotta put Frable on top of Sean's house.
Yeah,
for the
man.
show.
Get great.
I'll pay you. That'd be a good job for Ryan.
Yeah. Well, it's no different than what I'm already doing.
Uh-huh.
You know, just
I'll super chat you to make my Wi-Fi.
Sing at the house.
But yeah, as we wait for David to kind of hop in, kind of give him some grace here. I know he's currently, like I said earlier in the show, on a visit to Nebraska. Practice went a little late. Just reached out again, see if we're still good for 8. But while we wait, I guess we can kind of watch some of his films so that because I know Ben hasn't kind of gotten.
Ben, this dude's a monster.
Absolute monster.
Probably the best tape we watched all day last week.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, for the people that weren't here earlier, 4-star defensive lineman, top 15 player in the class of 2027 from Chicago. He is the godson of former Irish great Chris Zorich, as well as cousins. Or not? No, he's not the godson of Chris. That's Braden Park. Sorry, getting my Chicago guys mixed up. His head coach is Tom Zbikowski, former Notre Dame. Was it safety? Was Zbikowski? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he has that Notre Dame connection. Goes to St. Patrick's High School. He's originally from Nigeria. He started playing football until a couple years ago. So he's still pretty new to the game, but that's what makes his tape even more impressive. He is 6'4". Let me find his.
Running down a guy like that at the goal line.
Yeah. Get that pulled up real quick. But yeah, Ben, what do you think so far?
This kid's got to go down there and make a play is what it looks like. I want to say we're coming up on the play here where he legitimately murdered a quarterback. What I saw in his clips. I think this is the one I watched this morning when you told me about the interview. Just wanted to make sure I watched the film on the guy we were interviewing. Yeah, like, and this is the type of stuff like you see in good D linemen, their ability to blow up the middle. Like I said, make big fucking plays, be a big fucking guy, and go do your job. Like this right here, he's got to get on the inside. He's just basically got to fill the hole, and then he's going to throw the lineman out of his way and then just get the tackle. That's stuff you need to see out of your D lineman. Where like he doesn't give up on plays either. You'll see sometimes certain players don't give up on plays. If it's moving to the outside, it looks pretty obvious they're going to throw it. They'll give up on it. But even on some of those, like if you go look back, I want to say might have been the beginning on one of those sacks. He just did not give up on the play. He just ran with the quarterback the whole time. The quarterback never threw the ball. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. We talked about his ability.
Did they have my boy in the William Penn package?
Yes, they did.
They had my boy in high school? They told young man go lay down a block?
Oh, man.
I love our recruits, man.
He also plays
the
offensive line, too, which...
Like, look at... Wait. Go back on that play. Go back on... Yeah. That was a perfect way a DN basically decides to play himself. He does not bite. He knows the running back has to make a decision. He does not bite. He sits there and waits. Quarterback doesn't hand the ball off, and then he attacks the quarterback. That's a perfect way to do it.
I'll say this, too.
Kill it against Navy.
Yeah, Navy's gonna fucking. They're gonna give. If they could give NIL, they're gonna give this kid millions.
Mm-hmm.
Just to not have
you'll get your college for free.
There was a play in this. I don't know if we've already went past it where he absolutely blew up the center.
Yeah,
straight into the quarterback.
Bro, he took that kid to the bus. Michael Hardham, where are you taking him, Big Mike? I'm taking him home, sir.
I think it was time for him to go home.
We didn't know where he was. He was getting the first down. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge. Get him on the fucking field. Look at that. Oh, my God.
And I also like
I love watching D lineman clips, bro. They have him do the craziest shit.
Dude, awesome. You know, he switched numbers like 3 times this year. He's went from wearing 36 as an interior defensive lineman to 55 to 67. Like he I don't think he gives a shit what number he wears. I don't know if
Let's go out there and kick ass.
like, I don't know if I've ever seen an interior defensive lineman wear 36, but I'm all for it.
Number one.
They just told him, put on what fits, young man. Like, let's go. Go out there and
You know
make
what's
a
crazy
fucking
is
play.
he's
Look at
6',
this. Another William Penn package. Here we go. Let's see him blow up a
Boom.
freaking left end. Oh my. Oh my. He got in the end zone before the running back.
You know what's crazy is he didn't need to do that either.
Yeah.
He just wanted to.
Oh my. I love seeing this shit. When you see linemen,
Here's
do
another
that,
one.
That's awesome.
Here's another one.
He just wants to look at that. Look. Oh well, fuck. His team fumbled the football.
Got the hit.
Bro, I love how he puts at the end hips.
Oh shit.
It's gonna
He
be.
can pass the physical.
Advice.
He can
Yeah.
pass the physical. Max Crosby should take notes.
Oh wow.
You know, I guarantee you put him in the middle, he's not getting pushed around like Heinrich.
Oh,
Well, I think
geez,
it's
no.
good that he played both sides, offense and defensive line, the trenches, so he can understand.
I think it's great because you get to understand from both sides of the on the trenches, like what an offensive line is sort of thinking when they're going up against a guy like you. And now
Like,
that
what you would do in that situation.
Yeah.
You know,
but the dude is just
a mound.
dude, his tape is literally just the definition of weight rooming people.
Yeah.
Like that's
Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Like the fundamentals are there and the football smarts. Like like you say, he didn't have to make some of those blocks and he was getting in the end zone anyway. But he's a football guy. That's what that shows. Is I'm a football guy.
dude, could you imagine being in the corner on that play and you got that grown man coming at you and you're like, bro, your running back's already in the end zone. You don't need to throw me. Bro.
I love football. I love watching no linemen go to work. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're still waiting here. See if we hear back. But while I guess we got some time, we'll get into some other stuff we didn't get into the last couple weeks. We didn't have
Shrewsbury's ACL's doing okay.
Is who?
Shrewsbury's ACL's doing okay.
Yeah, I haven't really. I don't think we've gotten like an update on that. I'm sure that's something that's high priority for the Notre Dame athletic department is to figure out how long Coach Shrewsbury will be away from the court.
He won't be.
I think it's interesting, by the way. They said he's coming back for next year. I didn't think it would be that easy, but
like, fuck it. You went from not making the ACC tournament, one of the worst teams in college basketball. Just fuck it. You're not gonna do anything next year.
Can it get any worse?
Harrelson's leaving. We already know it. He's either going to draft or he's got to get paid.
Can it get any worse?
Yeah.
It can?
Yeah, it can.
What's worse than not even making the tournament? Just not winning it. Like, I don't know if you'll ever be as bad as to not win a game.
I don't know.
It could be worse that he makes the tournament and then has a year extension.
I was gonna say he could be the 16 seed in the ACC tournament, somehow win that shit, and we're like, oh, let's give him a 5-year extension. Could happen.
Yeah, no. All right. So there were a few coaching hires we
Or
had.
you could be a Broncos fan. That's worse.
Yeah. Okay. A few guys we didn't get to talk about that were hires was finalized last week. Notre Dame made a few around the edge hires. One of them being they hired former standout Wake Forest linebacker Chase Jones as a defensive assistant. He was a former team captain for the Demon Deacons back in 2024. He was a defensive assistant / linebackers coach for them last season. So Notre Dame is hiring him to be a defensive assistant and assistant linebackers coach as well. So he'll kind of help out Brian Jean Marie in that department. I would assume he's also, from what I've heard, he's a good recruiter. So kind of a younger coach that's kind of coming up. Notre Dame's done this in the past with guys like Max Bulla and James Laurinaitis. So he's kind of that next guy that they're going to try to mold into probably eventually being your linebackers coach full time. Thoughts on this hire? Obviously, there's no more limitations to how many coaches you can have on a staff anymore. So I think anytime you can add to the staff, anytime you can add to the staff, why not?
I don't know much about this yet, so I'm not going to fully speak on it. But I mean, a captain shows that you're a leadership. Wake Forest is a smart academic school, fits at Notre Dame, and he's young, which helps with the recruiting. So I'm down. Let's see if he develops into the next linebacker coach. Time here in the system and see how he does. I mean, I don't know if you agree, Ben, but I think a few years learning, it'd be good to under Marcus Freeman in the future for his career. Hopefully at Notre Dame. Yeah.
Like we all gotta remember, like this how these coaches start. They get their opportunities at these really good schools. For example, a guy like Freeman, Freeman started at Ohio State, right? That's his first coaching job.
I thought it was
Purdue. It might have been Fickle then. One of those two started at Ohio State as a linebackers coach, and then switched in and then got more involved, became DCs, became head coaches. But that's how these really good coaches start, especially in these situations. You start out a really good school, and you're assistant coach, your graduate assistant, something like that. And you just learn. You take the intel that you're being given, and you help that build your own viewpoint on coaching. And I think this is great. Like I said, Notre Dame's always been a great college linebacker school. So this is a great thing. Like this guy's going to learn a lot. He's got to be able to help coach us. Like we brought up the academic part of it. Wake Forest, great academic school. These younger kids are going to come in. They're going to look to him. Be like, hey, you went to a hard academic school. I understand some people pick your which ones you like more academic wise, but Wake Forest is still hard. They still hold their kids to standards. How did you handle these situations? How did you handle when stuff didn't go exactly right? So yeah, I think this is a good pickup.
Also, being a former team captain, I think kids look at you a different way. You get a different level of respect when people find out, this guy was a team captain.
When you got that internet on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're
I think it speaks a lot louder than say you got a guy that, was a linebacker and was a backup linebacker somewhere, right? I think it holds a little bit different weight. Like I said, I don't really know too much about Jones. His coaching career is still getting started. But I think him being a defensive analyst / linebackers coach, assistant, being more of a guy that can focus on recruiting. Anytime you can bring in more guys, more thinking heads of the table, I think it helps. So, all right. And then the next one we have that we didn't get to talk about was another guy I thought was interesting. I think it's still kind of odd what we're necessarily going to have him do because of the position he used to play, which we'll talk about here. If I can find it. Second here. But Notre Dame hired former Auburn running back Sean Shivers, who actually just at that same time had recently became the running backs coach at Florida State a month prior. Then immediately within that month, Notre Dame hires him away to be a running backs coach or assistant running backs coach, or not running backs coach, assistant receivers coach. So he'll be helping out Mike Brown, which is interesting. Still trying to look for it here. It's all the way down here. But yeah, he was a former standout running back at Auburn, then later transferred to Indiana, where he became an All Big Ten honorable mention. His final year there. Coaching career started at Eastern Michigan, where he was an offensive assistant. Then turned running backs coach for Eastern Michigan. Then, like I said, got hired at Florida State to be the running backs coach, and now is oddly enough taking a lesser role at Notre Dame to be an assistant receivers coach and an offensive assistant. Thoughts on this hire for Notre Dame?
This is a hire, like, this is a guy investing in his future. We all know, holy shit, I don't want to say Mike Mickens. That's not his name. Our current running backs coach.
Saunders?
Yeah. I don't know why I was going to say Mike Mickens. My bad. But we all know that at some point he probably is going to get looked at differently by different schools. He could maybe find his way to another place. So this is a guy who's going to be maybe looking at that, saying like, hey, this guy's probably going to move up faster than other running back coaches. This is a great school to get in on. Like, we're doing so well recruiting running backs right now on all parts of it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's part of it, right? Where he's looking at, is it job-wise, is it looked at as probably a demotion, right? But like you said, all of our running back coaches and our staff members have been getting jobs in the NFL the last few years. Would I rather sit behind he's probably the best running backs coach, even though he's not going to be a running backs coach, but you're in that same staff, right? You're learning from that guy. You're behind Mike Brown, who a lot of people give shit to in our fan base. But shout out the cold ass white boy Alec Pierce getting paid. That was Mike Brown development at its finest.
The highest paid receiver in NFL history.
Yeah. So when people come at Mike Brown,
stupid.
He just developed the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. Let that sink in.
Highest paid signed free agent in NFL.
Oh, okay, highest paid
NFL.
Let's put that. Yeah, there you go.
The highest paid signing at wide receiver, because every other wide receiver was extended.
He's developed.
He's a talented player.
The oldest white boy in the NFL.
I feel like the Colts finally used him in a way last year that I feel like they always undervalued him until last year.
Well, next year he's supposed to get 8 to 10 targets a game. This year he got 4 to 5, and he got 1,000 yards.
They better give him 8 to 10 when he gets that contract.
Yeah, 4 to 5. He got 1,000 yards and 47 catches. So let's times it by 2. He's got to get for 2,000 yards. 12 touchdowns, 95 catches. Why not? Just times it by 2.
We'll see. I'll draft him in fantasy.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this get. You said being a running back, but coaching out of position could be an advantage because of recruiting. Maybe he could be as a all-around coach where he can help all over, running back, receiver, right? So I'm hoping that his future's bright. This is another situation when you have just a talented player. Like you said, it could be a demotion, but you're going to Notre Dame. Is it a demotion? So I hope that I wish him success, and I hope we're going to be talking a lot about him in the future. But it's exciting. Coaches want to come here. With Coach Freeman. Welcome. Let's get it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing we got to remember. These are just titles. That doesn't mean they're only got to be working with running backs.
Yeah.
They'll be useful everywhere on the offense.
And I've also heard that even though he doesn't have the running backs coach title, he's going to be working with the running backs in terms of the receiving part of it, right? So I think he obviously, like you said, he's still going to be around the position that he was as a player. But yeah, I think it's a good hire. I've heard that he's a great recruiter. He's from the state of Florida. He's been massive recently in a lot of our Florida recruitments, even on the defensive side of the ball, because he has those connections built in. So again, I think it's a solid hire. I think it's a great hire. I do have some unfortunate news. David just messaged me and said that he won't be back to the hotel till 8:45. have to reschedule.
Yeah.
Sounds like next week is probably when we're going to reschedule. Sounds like Nebraska kept him longer on campus
That's
than we
okay.
originally thought.
Hope you had a good time, David, on your visit.
Yeah.
I really hope it was a good time for you. So, congrats on the visit, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if I was Nebraska, I wouldn't let that kid leave campus either.
You'd be locked in Ben's basement.
It's just be locking him in the
Sauce Gardner method.
Yeah.
Should I lock Alec Pierce in my basement till he signs an extension? That's a crazy fucking comment to make.
Oh, dude. We could always do the Auburn method of recruiting like they did with Deuce Knight. If you know, you know. But
I don't think we have women like that
today. We got Ben.
We got Ben.
Yo, we're a Catholic university there, buddy.
Oh man. Anyways, so I'll keep you guys updated. Obviously, when David said, I asked him if next week worked. It sounds like that's probably when we're going to do it.
Let's thank David too. I mean, he's been in. He didn't even have to do this, so thank you too for communicating your schedule and how you're running late with practice at Nebraska, and you had keeping us communicated with the time frame. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, like Tribal probably DM'd you like 7 times.
I actually
get
did
your attention.
But no,
he does every other 18 and 17-year-old.
No, but no. Again, like you said, Sean, he didn't have to keep us updated while he's on his visit, right? He didn't even have to agree to do this, knowing he was going to be on a visit. So I appreciate Dave for that. We'll try next week. I know there's probably a lot of people here waiting for that interview.
I know. I was about to say.
But things happen. It's recruiting. These kids are busy 24/7 with visits.
365.
Like I mean, we get y'all have been on our show for a while. We interview recruits in the off season every year. So
I have talked to Amari Irvin. He's trying to figure out what's going on. I know he's busy with OT7 the next couple weeks. So he said he's down to come on the show. Just have to figure out what time he's not busy with OT7. So we'll look forward to that. We'll have Amari Irvin on the show at some point before the season kicks off. So yeah, lots to look forward to. Thanks for the 123 people that tuned in tonight. We will be back next week, same time as always. Hopefully, we will have David on then. If not, I'm sure it will be sometime soon. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like the show, make sure you go over to the Voice of College Football Notre Dame YouTube channel. Drop a sub, like, comment, hit that notification bell every time we go live, or drop a video so you keep up with the latest on Notre Dame football. Anyways, I have been your host, Ryan Vervell, with my co-hosts Ben and Sean. Make sure you go drop us a follow on the socials. This has been Notre Dame Primetime Live, presented by FanDuel. As always, everybody, stay safe and go Irish.
Go Irish.